welcome everybody to our episode here on the Digital Classroom. Very excited to be with you live here in Columbus, Ohio at the ADHA annual session. And I am very honored to have a very special guest with us, Susan Wingrove, who has been teaching, I think you had 4 courses here at this meeting.
Yes.
So very, very excited to have her on. Susan does so much in continuing education, and we were actually just talking. She just recently got back from Italy and was teaching, and so literally teaches all over the world. So it's a true honor to have you on the podcast. And your company is Wingrove Dynamics.
That's right.
So really cool. So if you could, we're going to get into one of the courses that you taught today, but before we do that, if maybe just share a little bit about your background and how you got to where you are today.
I'm a hygienist, and I've always had a big passion with design and research. And so taking that, I've done hygiene for over 40 years now. Love it, absolutely love it. I have a big passion for what's the latest research, what can be safe, what can be effective for patients. And my late husband was a periodontist, and we designed a set of instruments that are called the Wingrove implant set from PDT, and doing that set really kind of catapulted me into doing more CE courses about, I didn't realize how much people didn't really know how to debride and clean implants. So it kind of pushed me into that direction, and so since then, since like 2000, I've been doing courses and hands-on courses and things for safe and effective implant maintenance. Yeah, quite a bit.
Yeah, interesting. And I could imagine, I mean, implants are out there more than ever now.
Yes.
And I think to your point, there's this whole element of making sure, like you said, how to take care of them and clean them and things like that. So the course that one of the courses that you taught today, Tools and Technology for Implants.
Right.
Talk a little bit about the subject matter and what was the focus of the course.
The course was based on the American College of Prosthodontic guidelines that were put out in last year, and they're excellent. They're on tooth-borne and implant-borne restorations. What's the latest in recall, maintenance, and care for that, and we based it on that and the latest research. So we put together a tools and technology using a subgingival air polisher, the piezo and the implant protect tips, the Wingrove R900 set, and we used models and hands-on and rotated around. We did some diagnostics as well, doing diagnostic things with the new SopraCare diagnostic camera by Acteon, so we could see the inflammation, actually know the colors.
Yep.
Just amazing.
Yeah.
And then we did some take some home type things too with the new mouth mates by Armor Dental. We had a table on that, so people were able to see home care wise what they should be sending home with their patients as well that have implants.
Right,
So
right.
It was a big hands-on event. We rotated around. We repeated the workshop then again in the afternoon, sold out at both. It was very fun.
Yeah.
Very fun to do, and kind of an advanced level of hygiene at a workshop. Really neat that we could do that, and everybody could participate and actually use these tools and technology. It was great.
Yeah, I love it. Well, and again, I obviously anytime a course is sold out, I think part of that is the speaker and part of that is the content, certainly, and what they could learn. But talk a little bit about I don't know, some of the questions or some of the things that they had, or some of the things that they're facing in regards to this in their practice.
Yes, a lot of them, had a lot of really good questions about, why this, and why the implant protect tips in particular, especially ultrasonically wise and instrument wise. And I think one of the biggest points that I really resonated was that they didn't realize that periimplantitis, the average patient for periimplantitis gets that 7 to 9 years after the implant's been placed. So when you're doing research on different things that affect implants, there's not a lot of available data on some of these new things to see. You can't automatically out of the chute say, here, this is safe to do, because you got to really do some concrete research and realize that unless it's been around for a while and we have some actual data, to show whether or not this is truly safe or not for peri-implantitis because it takes a long time to get that on board. So that was one of the things that really hit home that I think people really commented about.
Yeah.
And then just the kind of the paradigm shift of changing our prophy appointments and our thought process to include removal of biofilm as a thing that we need to do on each and every patient.
Right.
And you know, things like that are so critical. And then we took it to the end of the level by having the mouth mates. And why are those important? Because they cover the site 3 days after you had your extraction so that you can get rid of the biofilm around the adjacent teeth, you know, so that you can heal better and the biofilm is not an issue. So it all goes back to the biofilm. And so this is kind of a new paradigm shift for us that is one of the critical points we now need to do in hygiene. So it was pretty cool to do a kind of advanced thing with that paradigm shift.
Yeah, it makes total sense. Well, and I'm curious, just with your background and how have you seen? It's interesting to me because, as you know, with continuing education, there's a lot of different ways to learn. There's a lot of things online, but nothing can take the place of a hands-on, especially in dentistry, like just a live hands-on course where people can come and they can ask you questions or get to see it for themselves, do it for themselves.
I know, and that's why I started working with Liz Graham. Liz Graham does full day courses for me. We go 6 weekends a year across the country, and traveling across the country with Liz has really taught me that this is something that is still very much needed. I mean, you can take your webinars and your different things, and they're great.
Right.
But sometimes you have to be right there for it to really connect with the feeling and the touching and the seeing and the asking the specific questions right then and there.
Sure.
So I think hands-on and I think CE with the hands-on is really my passion.
Yeah.
So that people can actually try it and do it.
Yeah. Well, and like you said, the other element of that are the products. So you don't, you don't always get a chance to see and or know about a lot of those new products. And so obviously when you combine that with the course itself, I mean, you kind of, kill two birds with one stone there. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What are you excited about? What are some things in your world? I mean, you've done so much, and I know you love what you do and the research aspect of it. What is one thing right now that you're seeing or doing that you're very excited about?
Oh, that's a good question. I am excited that I'm going to start a new journey soon, doing some things with Implant Pathways, which is a course to teach dentists and doctors implants, but they're including maintenance now, and one of the first kind of academies that are going to include maintenance and things. So I'm very excited about being a part of that team, and that's new for me. And I'll be talking directly to doctors about this, and I've been starting to do a lot more doctor courses. And that's exciting because I think the doctors are really taking an interest now and really seeing where, yes, implants are great, but you also have to consider maintenance, and you have to take care of the implants, and if the implants are going to be there for as long as possible for your patients, that needs to be a consideration. I think we're finally now being taken seriously. So that's really exciting for me. I'm going to start by doing those academies now this next year. So that's exciting.
I guess I would have to think that everybody was so excited about implants because of the longevity and the strength of them that you could get so excited on the front end, to your point, that it was easy to forget we need to take care of these. We need to maintain these.
That's right. What's the patient going to do at home?
Right.
And now the research is really, 5 years is good for lasting for the implant and things, but they're really not going to necessarily last a really long time unless they're doing the correct things at home.
Sure.
So I know here on Saturday I'm going to do a home care. What's the latest in home care in order to protect implants and natural teeth? So we're going to do that here on Saturday for 2 hours as well. So and I think that's really, really needed to really get back to hygienists really educating the patients, especially now that we have to have neutral-based products in the mouth because of implants. So placing one implant in the mouth changes the whole home care thing that you do. and your prophy and your extra things that you do at the end.
Right.
What fluoride you use, what prophy paste
Right.
you use, everything.
Right.
And it's getting to the point where there's a lot of places where almost every patient has at least one implant in their mouth. So that changes the way
Yeah.
you recommend home care.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that we're getting kind of, I don't want to say back to basics, but we're going to do that tomorrow with, brushing and home care. What's the latest in that, too?
Well, and hopefully, because many patients paid a good amount of money for those implants, right?
Right.
It's like
They
taking care of
wanna
the
be
nice
able to
car that
take
you
care of
bought.
them.
You want to. Might be a little bit easier to get them to buy into the home care when certainly they had to. It was a big investment in their mouth.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah,
Right.
interesting. Well, Susan, I know you have another event to go to,
I
so
do.
I want to make sure that you get a chance to get there. And thank you so much for coming on. It's a pleasure
thank you,
to spend some
John.
time
That
with
was
you
nice, yeah.
and learn the great things that you're doing, and certainly all the exciting things that you're going to continue to do to make
I
the industry
appreciate
better.
it. And there's a lot of articles and videos and things all on wingrovedynamics.com.
Good.
So
Okay.
you can go to that and find out about those
Excellent.
things if you want to.
Yeah, well, we'll be sure to put the
Okay.
website on the
Okay,
feed and
great.
go from there.
Okay,
All right,
thank you.
thanks, Susan.